we're going to run you through understanding the concept of pulling in the push-up exercise. First thing we need to look at is understanding the difference between scapular protraction and scapular retraction and why both of them are important in a good push-up, okay? We want the shoulder blades to move freely, to separate, to go back and forth, in and out from the midline of the body toward the sides of the body throughout the duration of the exercise. What we don't want to see is when someone is just performing a push-up and all you see is shoulder protraction or scapular retraction alone. We don't want that to happen just alone, and I'll demo what that means. So I want you to focus on my shoulder blades when I turn around and notice how they're toward the sides of the body the entire time of the actual push-up, okay? So I'm here, my shoulder blades are going out, and I'm pushing up and down, and they stay out to the sides, okay? We want that to happen when we're in the up position, when we're pushing away from the ground. But when we come back down toward the ground, we want what is called scapular retraction, or the shoulder blades trying to meet in the middle, toward the midline of the body and going away from the sides. We want both of those. So to review, in the down position, my shoulder blades are together, scapular retraction. As I push away, my shoulder blades should go into scapular protraction. It should be a beautiful harmony between the two as you flow through the movement, okay? Other thing I want to look at is, once we have those guys in play, we want to look at taking our hands and screwing them into the ground, creating tension, right? And think of trying to spread the floor apart. An easy way to understand this is if we're squatting, okay, we often see people put their feet relatively under their hips or roughly hip width apart, and they'll screw their feet into the ground, creating that torque and that external rotation in the hips, and then go into their squat pattern. The shoulders are no different. Yes, there are different stability and mobility demands, but in a nutshell, in a simple way of explaining it, we want the same thing in our shoulders. We want to drive our hands in the ground, we want to screw the hands into the ground, turning on our shoulder muscles, our upper back muscles, our posterior muscles. We want those guys turned on. Once we screw them in the ground and create tension, we want to think of the lateral edges of our hands, okay, the lateral edges of our hands trying to spread the floor out to the sides as we're going through the movement. So to review, we're screwing our hands to the ground to start. Once we get up and we're ready to do the actual movement, we want to think of taking the lateral edges of each hand and trying to spread the floor that way. We don't want you moving, but we want you to spread the floor, think about that, and create tension into the ground. So if I'm creating tension into the ground by trying to spread the floor, and I've already screwed my hands into the ground, turning on my shoulder blades and my posterior shoulder muscles, my upper back muscles, all those good guys, it's going to be a good form of a push-up, keeping all these guys nice and in a good position while we're going through the range of motion, okay? Still looking for that retraction, protraction as we're going through, okay? So I'm going to get down, I'm going to screw my hands to the ground, okay? I'm going to think of separating the floor with the lateral edges of my hand and go through my motion. Keep an eye on my shoulder blades and look how when I come to the ground, they're together, retracted. When I come away, they're protracted. When we add in the pulling concept, you want to think, when I'm at the top of my push-up, I want to pull myself to the ground. Okay, once I'm there, I want to push the ground away from me. We're going to use all of those concepts within the drill now, okay? So I'm going to screw my hands into the ground, okay? I'm going to think of driving my hands out toward the sides. I'm going to pull myself to the ground. I'm going to push the ground away from me. Pull myself to the ground, push the ground away from me, and continue going.